That's James's meal, and that's mine. And that's we're both having this same kraut. It's a Emerald City kraut, but we're having different smoothies. His has this stuff in it. Mine does not. And we're going to talk about I Was a Stranger, which I thought got top of the stack against all of these other things. And James might get to Sue Grafton. We have so many videos though, so I don't know. It may happen, it may not.
It's either a promise or a threat.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't enjoy it then? Oh, check that out. I don't know if the camera saw that, but that says Vancouver Police, which I was never, this is the outfit. It's nothing much, but it has this fancy, I don't know what, fancy string stuff in the back that crosses, and I like that.
And that's not Vancouver Police issued though?
No.
Top?
No. That should stay.
I've got some Lethbridge police gear.
Yeah, he said that he'd lend me that so that I can wear. But I don't. I got this Vancouver Police from the pants from the Mormon clothing giveaway one year. I was thrilled.
I don't think of Mormons as being into police work. I thought there'd be a lot, but there was one. No. He was one of the guys that was a bit of a beater.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I know. And one guy who mentioned it to me was dismissive of the guy. He didn't think highly of him. He just said, "Oh, that's X."
So it's funny because I was wearing this hiking, the police thing, and we talked to the police today. They were looking for a girl. I don't know.
Yeah, it looks hopeless.
Yeah. So, and I was wearing this shirt, Lethbridge College, earlier while I was hiking too. And it's funny because I have never attended Lethbridge College. I got that for free from a pancake breakfast one year.
Been to college, huh?
Yes, but just not the Lethbridge one.
Maybe a more prestigious one. I don't know.
For what I did.
That you took.
Yeah.
It's known for that.
Yes.
Maybe not much else, but
So, anyway, yeah, I Was a Stranger. Now, we have reviewed several of these angel videos in the past, and...
They're put up by Christians, are they? Is that what you were saying?
Well,
no.
I would imagine so.
Yeah, maybe.
But, it seems to be. But, totally different sort of stuff than Hallmark that they do. And...
yeah, Hallmark's amazing stuff. It's good to sleep to those things. I don't think they're that dangerous or anything like that, but who knows?
I like it. But it's not really. I expected to be much more green than that. And it turned out kind of a khaki color. So it's not quite as exciting a green as I'd hoped, because the ruby red kraut, like I've been having salads lately.
A nice red color.
I really like the salads with the ruby red kraut. It's from the red cabbage and beets. It makes a beautiful kraut.
Spectacular.
So I thought, well, I'll have a salad with my red cabbage this time and have because I've been having kale salads with the ruby red kraut on top, but now I'll have red cabbage salad with the kale sort of kraut on top, and it's good. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked here. So yeah, I Was a Stranger. This is about, well, it follows a few people, and like James was saying, I mean they wrap it up in a decent movie length, so it's an hour 3 minutes.
Is that all?
Yeah. So in order to do that, we only got to know one woman, the doctor woman.
I don't even know much about her.
But we got to see that in her hospital everyone was equal kind of thing, right? She didn't want people shooting people in her hospital or whatever. Trying to get through.
There were people from both sides in her hospital.
So, anyway. So she's a Syrian doctor, and she's fleeing the ruins of Aleppo, something it says, whatever, with her daughter. And so when you see, when you follow her, you're kind of feeling for her. But you don't know exactly, there's a bit of a jump. You don't know what happened. When there's continuity issues, right? Because what happened? I mean, you're assuming that the one guard helped her out because she ended up making it, right? But you don't really know what happened exactly.
Oh, this guy did help her, but you're not sure. Because
you're not
he
sure.
escaped too. Mm-hmm. And then they did show the spy guy, spoiler alert, lying in the road afterwards.
Oh, okay. Okay. So they were just doing the Christian sort of thing. They didn't want to show us exactly what happened. Okay. So, so maybe no problems there. I thought it was a really great movie. I thought they told the story well. James has some other things to say about it because you don't really know much about the people. Whether they're the doctor, you can see she seems to be, I don't know, nonpartisan or something. But you don't know about the other people.
She's secular.
Okay. And you can't really, I mean, there's, this guy's on the cover. He's not a good guy.
No, he's a real bad guy.
He's a really bad guy. And I don't know, not much is explained about the refugee camp in Turkey and things happening there. And honestly, so James is definitely going to talk about this.
I'm going to talk about it more for us.
Yes, and he will definitely talk about Muzzle too, because I saved this back so that he could watch it. And I didn't give a thorough review about it when I reviewed it last time, because I thought he's going to want to watch it. I don't want to give stuff away. So today I'm giving the spoiler alert. I'm going to give stuff away in this. Or James will. So another Aaron Eckhart film, Thieves Highway, which we both watched and both enjoyed pretty well. There was some stuff at the ending, same with this one, where it's like, okay, that's...
So this is to movie heroes who want to behave like movie heroes in real life. When you're taking down a bad guy, don't make a ceremony out of it. Just dispatch of him. I'm not saying kill a person, but make sure, like, put some handcuffs on them. Don't give them a chance or whatever. Yeah. And don't, like, the bad guys are coming in. You already know that they're shoot first, ask questions later kind of people. Yep. You're sitting near the window in the diner, and you're just sitting there, waiting to be shot through the window? Or no, that was silly.
That's silly. And then there's a whole bunch of silliness after that. Anyway.
Yeah, it really gets silly.
Yeah.
In that last scene.
So, but still, I enjoyed this a lot more than I thought I would. It's a story about cattle rustlers.
Yeah, kind of different.
Yeah.
I thought Eckhart did a great job. Yeah. Previously, I've seen him playing villains, and he plays pretty good villains too.
So, Leonard Cohen, I put this one below. Because honestly, there was some good stuff at the beginning, and there was some, maybe some draggy stuff, whatever. And there was
very draggy stuff.
It's kind of a mixed bag. Yeah. And honestly, having 2 discs so that the Jane McGarrigle could speak French in one to host it and English in the other, that's ridiculous. Subtitles are perfectly fine. So I thought that was a bit of a, I thought that was stupid, but as it turned out, like when I put on the second disc and I'm like, is this the same thing over again? And it was, just in French.
But it worked out for us.
But it worked out for us because the English one, the first episode, whatever, what do you call that? Selection? It didn't, it skipped and it didn't want to play it. And it was like, oh man, because it was going well, right? That's the part that I ended up liking the most out of this Leonard Cohen thing, was the first one.
It started out with Leonard Cohen doing something like stand-up comedy.
And he's great at it.
He was great at it.
Or whatever.
Oh, he's dead now, but no, he didn't die that long.
Immortal when you're...
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
so
we thought we'd just miss 5 or 10 minutes, but it turns out it was maybe half of the whole thing.
So, I brought the Fourth Estate and all these other things out here because I don't know how much James is going to want to talk about. So I'm putting this over to James.
The whole thing?
The whole thing, because, I mean, you watch this stuff, and so you can go ahead.
Oh my God.
You have a lot to talk about it.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's bad enough
you have way more to say about this than I do. So, I mean, there you go. So, enjoy. Ooh, I caught it.
I was lucky.
Yeah.
I thought the whole thing was going to hit the floor. Okay, folks, spoiler alert.
A little.
This guy's a human smuggler. Awful person. Now, what I'm going to do is to explain how these refugees were coming into Greece and stuff like that, because that's what this is about. One dinghy load. It's not even a boatload. Okay? So Turkey is rectangular. It's more rectangular than this, okay? Now, right about here, it borders on the Mediterranean. The Mediterranean comes down like this, okay? 20 minutes? Comes down like this. Syria is here. Okay? Syria is here. Borders on Turkey. Turkey's kind of part of the European Union, but not fully. Why? Because the European Union is supposed to have porous borders. In other words, people can go across from one country to another. It's almost like a country, like a United States of Europe.
And frankly, they can't trust Turkey. They simply can't. Turkey cannot be a part of the European Union.
Well,
ever.
Turkey has this, especially under the fundamentalists, has this idea that they're going to continue appropriating their promised land wherever and whenever they can. So, what's the promised land for Muslims? The whole world. That's what people don't understand. Oh, there are tons of people against Israel. They're going after the promised land. Who promised it to them? The promised land for Muslims is the whole world. Read the sacred documents. It's the whole world. And the Muslims will, fundamentalist Muslims, and when I say fundamentalist, I mean mainstream Muslims. I'm not talking about people who support terrorism, because mainstream Muslims support Muslim terrorism. They won't necessarily do it. They're cowards and stuff like that. But, or as Muhammad called them, they're hypocrites. They don't get out there and fight for his religion, their religion, or whatever. So they show, they don't explain the geography of the whole thing. So the refugees would be coming in through the border from Syria into about the middle of the southern part of Turkey. Then they all of a sudden say Izmir. They're in Izmir now. Well, Turkey's a big country. It's not like the United States or Canada, but it's bigger than any country in Western Europe. And that's west of the former Soviet Union. Okay? So that's Eastern Europe, outside of the former Soviet Union, and Central Europe and Western Europe. It's way bigger in terms of land size. It's about the size of Germany in terms of population. It's probably surpassed because the population is growing quite quickly in Turkey. So there's and actually, people aren't that poorly off in Turkey. They're better off per capita than many, many Muslim countries in the Middle East. Okay? The people coming into Turkey from Syria during this movie, like since 2011, coming from Syria are Sunni Muslims, maybe almost without exception. And the people in Turkey are Sunnis when they're not something else. They've killed off a lot in my dad's lifetime, my granddad's lifetime. They killed off a lot of Christians. The Christians, they're the natives in Turkey. The Turks actually come from, check it out, I encourage you to be not cynical about anything, really, unless we're talking about Donald Trump or Bernie Sanders or something like that. But be skeptical. Check it out. The Turks come from Siberia. Have you got that? Write it down. You can't retain it in your mind. Siberia. Siberia, you ever heard of it? That's where the Turks originally came from. So there'll be a lot of people, oh, they came from former Soviet Central Asia. But where did they come from before then? They aren't native to that area. We have found mummies, natural mummies, in the western part of China. And I wouldn't necessarily say they're native to there. I don't know who was there originally, but more native than the Turks in western China and in former Soviet Central Asia. And the mummies have brown, light brown hair and fair skin. Fair skin. You'll actually, the easternmost Indo-European language documented, the oldest, one of the old primitive, the easternmost primitive Indo-European languages found in, as I recall, in China, right? Called Tocharian, something like that. Okay, it's east of India. Okay, or at least the place where the Indo-Europeans were settled in India. So, like it or not, that's the way it is. The Indo-Europeans and fairly light-colored Indo-Europeans, fairly fair-haired Indo-Europeans, were located in areas that we think of as Turkic, not Turkish, but Turkic, related to the Turks, before the Turks. The Turks came, Turkic peoples came from Siberia. So they've stolen this whole land. After they became Muslims, they stole all of Turkey, okay, from Christian Indo-European speaking people. I think almost every native of Turkey, by the time the Turks rolled into there about 1095 AD, they were Indo-Europeans. Turks are not native to Turkey, despite the name of the place. So the Turks are letting in Syrian refugees, fellow Sunnis, and then all of a sudden they're in Izmir. Where is Izmir? See, it's important to know geography. It's pretty well on the Aegean coast. I think it used to be called Smyrna back in classical times. Smyrna is mentioned in the New Testament. I think it's in one of the 7 churches mentioned in Revelations. All of a sudden the Turks have moved them there. Why? Why would they move them there? Now, they're showed in a refugee camp and it looks like it's bare bones living and stuff like that. You're kind of assuming it's in the desert. Did you kind of assume it was desert kind of? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Smyrna is not a desert, okay? Mediterranean climate. In the summertime, it's going to be like a desert. In wintertime, it's going to be relatively rainy and cool. Mm-hmm. What's the climate that people most like to live in, Pauline?
Mediterranean.
Mediterranean. Southern California, that's a Mediterranean climate. You can be skeptical. Check it out. Mediterranean climate. It's where people live. You know, like it used to be, I don't know if it's maintained its reputation, that Spain was the country most visited in the world by tourists. People from Northern Europe would come down there. They go on the, Costa Brava, stuff like that. You know, the Riviera extends into Italy and extends into Spain. In other words, and if you don't know what the Riviera, you know what the Riviera is, right, Paula? It's where people go, they splash around on the beaches and all this sort of stuff. Now in the refugee camp, they wouldn't be able to splash on the beaches, but it's a type of climate where people flock to. So the movie didn't explain that in the least. You're kind of assuming it's a semi-desert. You saw on that border area, it looked kind of arid, semi-desert, right? Where they moved them a long ways away, folks. It's like they moved them half a country away, and this is a large country. It's not Syria now, it's Turkey. Look it up on a globe. And don't look on a Mercator map, because things closer to the Canada looks huge on a Mercator map. Things towards the poles get all stretched out. Look on the globe, and you see how big Turkey is, especially by comparison with West Germany. And France, I think, is the biggest country in, well, Poland might be a little bit bigger, but somewhere around there. 80 million people in this huge country here, by comparison with the countries in Western Europe. The Turks have moved them there. And we saw some of the people escaping from the refugee camp.
Yeah, but the hole was flagged off. So I think they were trying to say they're not real. They're trying to encourage.
Head west, young flunkies. Head west. Okay. And not all of these were flunkies. Like the doctor looked to be secular. The one main family, the woman was dressed in a hijab and that sort of stuff. Most of the people coming in here, escaping from the Alawites, would have been supporters of ISIS and Al-Qaeda. ISIS and Al-Qaeda. And those guys were terrorists, just like the Alawites, at least the Ba'athist party representing the Alawites in Syria. Terrorists. You don't let Nazis in after the Russians have taken over Eastern Germany. You don't let them in just because they're refugees. And when you're dealing with mainstream fundamentalist, terrorist-supporting Muslims, at least supporting them in mind and speech, and sometimes not speech, sometimes they're hiding, you cannot let them into a democracy. Absolutely not. If you do, you have them in refugee camps where they're confined to the camps. But it would be the same protocol for Nazis coming from someplace. You cannot let them mix with a general population because they don't believe in democracy. It's the same sort of thing with communists heading as refugees from someplace. You cannot let them mix with a general population in a democracy, and it's understood that they don't have birthright rights or whatever it is, citizenship rights for their kids. If they're born in a country where they're refugees, they should be confined to camps, and it's understood they're going back someplace else, preferably going back to where they came from. Okay? So it shows this human trafficker, this bad guy, and at least they've got someone of color doing it, although why they don't have a, most of them would be Turks and stuff like that would be doing it. Why they got a black, I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, that kind of rubbed me the wrong way.
Kind of creepy.
But one thing I will say is they didn't have enough life jackets, and there's the captain, he's giving mouth-to-mouth to a boy that he's risked his life. This is a big storm. He's dove into the water
so
to try to
he's a Greek fellow.
Yeah. To try to save this kid. And he's giving mouth-to-mouth and trying to save the kid, and the kid's not coming. He's gone. And the father says, stop, it's not your fault.
Oh, that's
and
stupid.
Both James and I said, yeah, it's your fault.
Absolutely.
You don't.
If you expose your kids to these kind of dangers. This guy was telling them to pop their dinghy when they got inside of the Hellenic or Greek Coast Guard. So they'd have to pick them up.
Yeah.
You can't, when you do that, and a kid dies, it should be manslaughter. You don't have that right to expose your kids to that kind of stuff. This is the same thing as hoofing it through the wilds of the arid or semi-arid or desert areas on the borderline of Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona. You do not have a right to expose your kids to those sorts of things. Same sort of thing, hoofing it from Manitoba in the middle of winter down into, what would that be, North Dakota and stuff like that, maybe Minnesota, because the borderline, the Red River is the borderline between those two states. When you do that, it's it's not the responsibility of democracies to pick you up and rescue their kids and stuff like that. You are bad guys when you do that. You're criminals when you expose your kids to those sorts of dangers.
I mean, our own citizens, parents would have their children taken away from them if they did stuff like that.
Sort of stuff.
Child endangerment like that. Yeah. And yet, we're supposed to welcome people like that in, who endangered their children in that way. They weren't at risk in the Turkish...
They aren't at risk when they're in Turkey. That's the thing that gets hidden by this whole thing. Oh, and you know, like people have got this idea, they're paddling all the way across the Aegean. See, here's Greece. But the funny thing is, the settlement after, it probably was after World War I, almost every island off of Turkey is Greek territory. Now they have them landing at Lesbos, which is the classical name is Lesbos, which is up here and stuff like that. They're ones that are just a good swimmer could swim across it, like a really good swimmer, like a world-class swimmer could swim across to the island of Samos. I think there's a one called Chios, or stuff like that. There's several of them in here. They could go down to Rhodes, which is an island down here, Greek island, and stuff like that. So I don't know about swimming that
And
far.
I'm a strong supporter of immigration. But people who sneak into countries or do that dinghy thing, nope. I think if you're ever caught doing something like that, you never get let into a democratic country. Ever.
Even a borderline democratic country like the United States is turning out to be. Or as France has been since 1870. So
you apply for citizenship honestly.
You apply. And no sneaking in.
No.
People who support this sort of stuff, like there are all sorts of people, like in Italy, for example, they'll be picking people up or trying to get their way into Italy and stuff like that. Sicily's not that far away from North Africa. And they'll be helping them out. When you do that, you have no guarantee that you're not letting in terrorists, communists, Nazis, fascists, commie-Nazis. That's like the Ba'athist party in Iraq and Syria. No guarantee. And you should be prosecuted for treason if you do that. There's no guarantee if you're sneaking people in. So, if you want to set up your own country somewhere and go someplace else outside of a democracy, maybe you'll be set up a democracy. You'll have a lot of trouble letting in the folks that are spilling into Europe right now. But set up your own democracy, fund it, and all that sort of stuff. Or set up your own dictatorship. Basically, social democrats are just communists are not who want other people to fight for their revolution and stuff like that, particularly people of color. But yeah.
So as much as I thought that was a great movie,
it was kind of gripping, but
yeah, and it certainly gave us a lot to talk about today.
Yeah, too much. We shouldn't have to be watching this sort of stuff. So I don't know who put this out. It looks as though it was a guy from Scandinavia.
Oh, okay.
Scandinavian kind of name, and you know. You folks from Scandinavia, I'm tired of you guys playing holier than thou. You guys, or your ancestors, and not that far back, contributed to the Holocaust. You were supporting Nazi Germany with some of the best iron ore in the world during World War II. So wake up and smell the coffee. You guys are former Lutherans, and you've inherited your anti-Semitism, or let's call it for exactly what it is, Judeophobia, quite